apparently there's a better line with qualifiers. So anyway, we had talked about that on the plane. We said, advice? Yeah, yeah. So practices are talking. So anyway, well, we are last but not least up here today. Excited to talk to you guys. Oh, one more. But here at City Within the Lakes, we're going to talk about how trends are becoming norm. We talked about a lot of those today, with digital and AI and everything. But wanted to start with introductions. I'm Sara Sustersic. I'm the senior director at Vevo. Vevo is the home of music television. So back in the day, it was on TV, and we think of us as the new generation of that music videos. And I'll turn it over.
Hi everyone, I'm Lynn. I'm the Director of Brand and Engagement Strategy at Moderator. So I sit in the corporate enterprise, supporting 4 of our business units, and yes, we're a 100-year-old company that's a farmer-owned organization.
Hey guys, I'm Yoshina Okamoto. I also work with Brand and Engagement Strategy Department at Innovators. I'm the Associate Planner there. Also serve in our business units. Excited to talk about trends with you guys.
So Lynn just mentioned 4 pillars of their business. I think people sometimes associate Land Lakes with butter, but they have 4 pillars of business, and we'd love to hear more about those and how trends are important to the food and beverage industry.
So a little bit about us, which people don't realize, including Sara, is that while we love our butter, and we say we love our butter, and we love our cheese, and we love all those amazing things, that is one of our 4 business units. So we have an animal nutrition business unit that our primary brand and marketplace there is Purina. The easiest way to describe it is anything but cat and dog. So it is horse, flock, goat, commercial, all those kind of great things. That's part of our animal nutrition business unit. We also have a business unit called Vevo United, which is about inputs and insights. So that's really working with the farmer on agronomy practices, everything from seeds to soil to microbiomes to help them grow. In that case, we are owned by our retail partners in rural communities, so that is our Vevo business unit. Dairy foods obviously has been the Lakes, but also Vermont Prairie, Cozy Shack. We also have an ingredients business and a couple of other businesses associated with dairy foods. And then finally, our newest business unit is Tritera, and that is really a business unit that is about helping farmers with regenerative agriculture practices, carbon sequestration, all those kind of great things that are changing our practices with the soil and the way that we're farming. So it's a little bit about us. And then why do trends matter today? Well, I think it's been really interesting listening to everyone this afternoon, so I know that everyone in this room so speaking to a highly literate audience in this, but I think that the way I would answer this is that there's 3 core reasons. One is change, another is growth, and the third is purpose. So the first being change is that we are all living in a massive amount of change right now, where small things turn really fast, right, in the marketplace. And so I just think being able to understand what's going on in culture. It used to be that I feel like food and culture were always combined, but now they're really coming together, right? So food was part of culture, now culture is really informing food, I think in a very different way than it was 10 years ago. So that's really exciting to be able to kind of see that change and understand that. The other one would be growth, right? I really enjoyed listening to Caribou and some of the other presenters because, I tend to look at more long-term systemic, and I was like, oh, that's so interesting when you're like Dairy Queen or your Caribou or Taco John's. You're a little bit more fashion-oriented, right? You're looking at things that are going to pop to help you get visibility in the marketplace. And then finally, it is always about purpose, right? It's what is your organization's purpose, what's your point of view, and how do you use trends and your purpose to come together to unlock growth.
And we talked about a lot of those different things that really does change, and some of that does evolve with consumer behaviors and the expectations that consumers have. So Yoshina, tell us a little bit about how Land Lakes is predicting new consumer behaviors.
Yeah, of course. So, as we all know, the trend space is just the Wild West. There are a million different voices on a million different platforms, a many different things. So it can be kind of murky, sort out for any organization where to tap into, what to look at, how to define a trend, and what spaces can be in. So let me talk a little bit about how Analytics does this. First off, just to level set and how we're defining a trend. You know, there are a million ways to define a trend, but we like to leverage this framework from TikTok. It provides a really nice scale kind of trend so you can better understand it and better prioritize it within our organization. There are moments, you know, these quick little moments that gain traffic that ladder all the way up to enduring large-scale transformational shifts in consumers. So we really like to use this lens. First off, is to give us a shared language, so when we're talking about these things, we're all understanding the same things, and further just to provide better understanding and prioritization of these things. So going about how we scale a trend over Analytics, we like to call this our trend atomic structure. It's very, very fun. Really, it just helps us provide focus when we're looking at this big landscape of trends out in the world. The way we focus is that we center this within our purpose. So at our heart is our purpose for emerging retailers at the heart of creating a better world. And that really ladders out across culture, across competitive, and really determines the spaces that we're looking at, and it determines the narrative that we tell from there. I love this for a lot of reasons. One, it's really, really moldable and customizable. So this is the one that we use for our business. However, we could leverage the same structure for dairy foods, for our Terra business. It's just a really, really applicable structure that can help kind of for any organization, any business, thinking into any trend if you want to look at it. Another reason that I love this is that it really provides focus in a murky space. As I've said a million times now, trends are really, really tricky to figure out where to go. So by centering our purpose at the middle of it and then providing clear areas within culture within our competitive structure to look at really helps us focus and find and make sure that we are activating the trends that we need to.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons we're nice, because obviously there's a lot of different trends out there, some that stick, some that don't. So how, Lynn, how do you take this one, and how do you define and determine what is trend?
Sure. So I think this is a two-part Yoshina. So I think one of the things that we struggle with as a team is we are gathering trends or creating trends out there within the organization, and you're asking yourself, what's going to stick, right? What people are listening to, what's going to be helpful to them, what's going to help drive their businesses. So I'd say that there's two different ways that I tend to think of it. I tend to think of it as proactive as well as passive. So for example, when we're doing annual business planning, we would say cultural trends, and everything when we're doing annual business planning. So there's moments where we take active, proactive steps to have conversations about trends. But there's always this thing where there's always conflict, right? And I think one of the things that our leadership team, our C-level team, we're always looking at things that we can share with them so that they can have a discussion with the C-level about what's going on in the world. So I think what we try to do is balance purpose, what our businesses are in, what the categories are in, what they need, as well as kind of what's going on in culture. So those are the three ways that we try to kind of elevate it through the organization.
Yeah, Yoshina, I know you wanted to talk a little bit about like what that looks like from like a technical standpoint.
Yeah, like how do we have these conversations, how do we determine this? And so what we do is we were inspired by the Ease Law course that is on something in order for us to determine kind of what trends do we put our focus on, what do we put our focus on. So when we look at the Ease Law course, there's the mass component. For us, that's brand scale. So that's the size of your business, the size of your audience to determine feasibility, prioritization of if we should be doing this. The next point is acceleration, and for us, that's cultural velocity. Going back to that TikTok framework, is this kind of more of a moment? Is this more of those larger cultural forces? This really helps us determine, again, how much focus we bring to this and also our approach, because the way that we would approach maybe a moment would not be the same way that we would approach a cultural force. So it really helps us make sure that we're approaching the trend the correct way. And that all leads up and ladders to our cultural force, which is that big factor at the end. Again, this isn't a scientific structure for us. It really is a way for us to get into that conversation. We don't have numbers to be associated with it, which provides a framework for the conversation so we know how best to approach the trend.
The other thing that I might add, so for example, we work with Sustersic, and they have kind of a quantitative approach to this, where we look at the database, and we start to level up the trends, so that's another way to do this. And we've actually done some early work with Sustersic, and then brought that together with this kind of thinking to understand what are the 100 broad trends in the US right now and apply it relative to our businesses. It's one of the things that we struggle with, and I'm sure that many people struggle with, is that a trend can be really interesting, but doesn't make sense for your business, right? And I think sometimes we thought something was really interesting and really cool, but we realize, hey, we're an organization that is really more about scale, right? So for us, trends have to look a little bit different than when you're a different type of organization, because it's just a little more of a scale-driven organization now instead.
How much goes into this? So that kind of leads into the next one, like how, when you do identify that trend, how do you make it authentic to and relate and where it can actually make an impact what your brand and for your business model?
Yeah, to me, that always goes back to our brand strategy and our purpose as well as our consumer needs. So if we're about new products and research are creating a better world, then the trends are what are considered creating a better world, right? So how are people defining what a better world is? What role do we play as a partner and cooperative to make that better world? Right now, for example, regenerative agriculture is not just a trend, it's kind of a way that we're changing the business. And so what does that mean actually back to the consumer? How do they interpret that? What does that mean to them? Is it meaning more than a nice set of words that use underlying things? How sophisticated are we in that underlying understanding of regenerative agriculture? Or for us, in many cases, we're not really. So what does it mean when we say refined? What is that? What kind of bridges, what kind of uses that today? And what does that mean in the future?
There's a lot of synergy that you could add to it. Yeah, farming side of the business. Awesome, thank you. Okay, so we talked about like trends at work and that do become the norm, but there's also missed trend, right? And you can get it wrong too. So how do you think that changes the way that you guys look at that and taking risks and trying to figure it out?
Yeah, so I think what I would say is every organization has a different appetite for risk. So knowing your organization's risk appetite is a big deal, right? So I've worked on micro brands, I've worked on very large brands, and understanding when you think about your brand tone, your brand voice, your brand personality. If you say you're a rebel brand, well, that then there gives you reason to push things. If you're more conservative or have a different point of view in the world, that also might put you in a different place. I do think people might want to go back to this a little bit, which is kind of answering your previous question. So one of the things that we did, do you want to talk a little bit about this framework a little bit?
Yeah, of course. So, building out what we wanted to discuss, there was this really coherent thought that kind of came to mind about where might your brand play when you're trying to determine what trends to be part of, what trends that you want to touch on. And so we created this framework, this one organizing now a lot, but just measuring from low to high trend velocity, from smaller to larger brand scale, really to determine where brands can play in order to make the most impact.
Sure. So what's really fascinating to me about what AHA does, or what they did, is that 40 years they went from to a several $billion business, right? So they really understood what they could bring to the marketplace. One of the things that we talked about when we think about trends is we ask ourselves, are we LaCroix or are we AHA, right? So like, where does our brand sit in that kind of relationship? And I know that LaCroix is a bigger brand. When we first started, they were a smaller brand that was bringing a very different point of view to the marketplace and a very different option. So what we tried to do here is say, okay, if we look back at our TikTok kind of model, which is the trend is wellness, the signal is this idea of de-stress eating, and in the moments that we can tap into our absolute flavors. And they've just done a really great job of presenting that brand within the marketplace. Another example that we put up there is Okamoto, which is a retailer brand that TSC brings to market. And again, it's playing in that same wellness space. But the signal there is that we know that people are treating their animals like peanuts. And in fact, I remember sitting in a focus group, going up to some ethnographies for hens. It was very fascinating. It was one of those really interesting moments where a woman she's so lovely, and she's like, oh, I love my home so much, right? And she's like, I'm feeding them organic spinach. And I was like, that's not what they need. That's not what it thought. But it was a really interesting moment where you're like, oh, this is really how she is choosing to make choices and what the nutrition offerings that she's feeding her hen. So from there, Brand has developed that really includes things like nutrient grains and dried fruits and things like that, because it signals something to people about the nutritional offerings that we're consuming then. So again, just two different examples. One is more of a retailer brand, the other is a large scale brand, but I just think they've done a really good job of understanding what they could tap into on the larger trend and figuring out where they could figure out where they could go.
Awesome. And then we talked about the misses, but so what, from your perspective, makes a trend stick and become the norm?
Yeah, it's a great question, because actually finding trends isn't too hard. If you go on TikTok, scroll for 5 minutes, you're going to see a million trends out there. The tricky part is finding out what's the signal, what's the force that's laddering up to. That's the hard part. So for me, when I'm kind of trying to determine what trends are going to be becoming the norm, I always go back to that Malcolm Gladwell tipping point change, where he talks about the stickiness factor of a trend. Basically, it's you can't stop thinking about it. There's really, really high capability for large consumer growth inside of this trend. So for me, if it's something that I just can't stop thinking about, if it's something that I see like untapped opportunity within there, that's for me an opportunity for my business as well.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm curious what people experience in this room too, right? I'm interested in what other people have used to kind of figure out when we jump what really is sticking in there. For me, it's things like your consistency of repeatability of things, but also the life cycle of things today is much shorter, right? So some of it is identifying the trend, what's going to stick, but then also what makes sense for your business, and how do you balance all three of those, tends to be where the part of the marketing and experience comes in. But, the bigger ones that are easy to track is even better than moments. That's why I think it's a little bit harder to figure out, oh, we're going to make this back in this moment, or this flavor on this moment.
I think we have about 10 minutes left. Do we all take any questions from it? Make sure we have time for that if anyone has any questions. All right. So what is next for Lynn?
That's a good question. Well, I think the big things that we're always looking at is that we're looking at what is interesting about analytics is that we truly get to see the entire food ecosystem, right? That's a really fascinating place to sit. It's part of the reason why when I was first talking about analytics, I was like, oh, this is super interesting. I get to see what's happening with the farmers. I get to see what's happening on carbon sequestration. I get to see what's happening in animal nutrition. Some of the enterprise-driven activities are we really care about rural America and rural communities. So part of what we do in enterprise is really informing collaboration platforms for our leaders. And so some of our 2 areas that we're really focused on right now is global food security. We're in these real moments of a change in global food security for a variety of reasons, whether it be climate, whether that be changing population, middle class. So we're doing a lot of thinking about global food security. We're also doing a lot of thinking about water right now, and what is the role of water play. And then finally, the other thing we're really thinking about is vibrant rural communities. Again, we are a farmer-owned co-op. So one of the things that we're talking about was how do we change the narrative on rural America? There's a perception when you think of rural America, and I just said that, and we probably had something come to your head, right? Or that farm, whatever it is, there's a perception of rural America. And part of what we're trying to do as a convener brand is bring rural and urban America together and tell those stories that we're independent and how we're better together, and how, we need healthy rural communities with access to education, with access to healthcare, and urban rural food that we need to create our population. Those are some of the things, again, I tend to work on enterprise-driven organization activities.
I loved hearing, like, talking to you guys and just learning so much about that. I think we start seeing a little bit more for like the rural and urban coming together with farmers markets and a lot of people, wanting to get their food from just like the local farms. And I'm so passionate about that and found it very important as well.
Well, one thing that people, like, for example, things we did about 18 months ago is we actually created a fellowship program. Because one, we know that rural America is broadband. We're broadband for a lot of reasons, education, it has to be to drive sustainability and better farming practices. So we created a program of fellows where there's approximately 40 people who are returning to or going to our communities, just troubleshooting whatever community we need, which is a broadband or technology, to peer resource there. So that's some of the types of things that we do that people may not realize that we're doing, but because of our structure, we kind of will allow you to do some of those things.
We talked about this a lot in coffee, and we talked about it earlier today, is actually how much it takes to get from the ground to the table, right? Because we hear all the time, how intense it is and how much it takes to just make one cup. And I'm sure this is something you guys face all the time. So what kind of initiatives are you doing to inform the world? And if not any, I mean, that's fine too, but it's like we've been thinking about, quite honestly, if you're like, how can we shine light on these hard-working farmers? Who are doing like a really annual process, right?
Well, I think it's a really good question because I think that's part of, so we recently saw a campaign called Farmers Are Home. And one of the stats on that was 1% of people being 100% working. So people don't recognize like what it actually takes to produce rural and natural food in our country today. And so that is one small event that we did. Specifically, we sponsored, for example, the recipe. I'm not sure also really volunteer. It's very good. Well, it's not a good one. One of our spots called Rooted in Tomorrow. It tells a story, and then the lakeside tagline is Rooted in Tomorrow. Again, it's an enterprise story. And it's like, there's some good videos today. I was kind of really, I was like, should drop that in. But Beth Ford, a big part of Beth Ford's platform is the local security and telling the story of the security. The other thing we're really interested in is the condo. So people don't really recognize about the condo is that there's about 30 people, roughly, in Congress who represent rural communities. And part of what we need to do in order to reform the right and farm bill that's going to be good for a lot of people is to help people understand what's happening in their communities and what they need in order to grow. All right.
Thank you guys so much.
I'll ask you a question.
Okay.
I'll ask you a little bit of inside knowledge. But talk about the challenge, the balance of communicating the enterprise brand, and then you've got 4 other brands underneath. How do you balance that from an insight standpoint?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, thank you, because I know you're consulting. So, one of the questions we asked ourselves, we went under a rewriting process about 2 years ago in our CMO, but we wanted to cover dates in CMO. And so we did a new brand purpose, we did a new brand story. One of the key questions we asked ourselves is, who is the enterprise brand for, and who is it not for? So our enterprise brand is not for the dairy consumer, although they want to cross that, it's great. Our enterprise brand is more of a thought leadership platform. So it is for our C-suite, because they're going out there telling stories. The other thing that, and that could be government affairs, and places like that. So it tends to be much more of a thought leadership platform, as well as an ownership brand, than it is necessarily a consumer brand.
Thank you guys.
All right, that was all for